So how do you keep the avoidant? How do you keep them from walking away? How do you prevent them from running away from you again? Well, if the avoidant is not working on themselves, it's going to require you to completely take your wants, your needs, your desires for emotional intimacy, and to completely throw them out the window. You are going to have to completely cater to this person, tiptoeing around them, walking on eggshells to avoid triggering their fears. Avoidants fear emotional intimacy because in their mind it leads to abandonment. So you can't have an emotionally intimate relationship with somebody who is walled off. If they're not working on themselves, those walls are staying up. And every effort that you make to get closer to this person will be met by fierce resistance, stonewalling, pulling away, and perhaps them even running from the relationship. So those needs for intimacy have to go out the window. You will have to cater to this person. You will have to become a people pleaser, meaning you have to take your own feelings, wants, and needs and boundaries, and you have to stuff them. Forget about them, because if you assert your wants and needs and feelings, that's going to trigger the avoidant, because then they're going to feel smothered and you're going to be needy and you're going to be pushing for emotional intimacy, which is what they fear. This is one of my biggest issues with a lot of the content out there on social media regarding avoidant attachment. On how to keep the avoidant, you have all these different experts recommending different ways to avoid triggering the avoidance fear by suppressing your needs, suppressing your desire for things like quality time, open communication, emotional intimacy. You can't assert that. You have to take those desires and ditch them, because if you actually try to get these things from this person, they are going to discard you. They're going to run away. What kind of relationship is that? That is a one-way street relationship where you are giving, and catering to this other person while they're giving you nothing but breadcrumbs in return. What does that tell you if you allow that to happen? If you allow yourself to sacrifice your own wants and needs and throw away your boundaries, you are telling yourself the message that your feelings, your wants, your needs don't matter, and that you can't rely on yourself in a relationship to assert your boundaries or your wants or your needs. That this person's feelings are more important than your own. That it's okay for you to only receive breadcrumbs, and it's okay to be in a relationship where there's no emotional intimacy. That is such a negative message to tell yourself. This is precisely why a lot of securely attached people will get into a relationship with somebody who is severely avoidant, and they came in secure, but they come out as an anxious attacher because they sacrificed their own wants, needs, they threw away their boundaries, and they went into people-pleasing mode. People that were already anxious come out of it more anxious. Again, because the avoidant, well, they avoid. They are not going to put in the same effort. They are not going to put in the same emotional energy because they don't want the emotional connection. That makes them feel unsafe. They push it away. So it's going to require the person who is emotionally available to fall on their sword and to sacrifice what it is that they want and need in a relationship. And that is such an unhealthy, toxic thing to do. Because in a healthy relationship, both partners' wants and needs matter. Both people's desires matter. It should be reciprocated 50-50 with both partners putting in equal energy, love, effort, and commitment, both physically and emotionally. But in order to keep a severe avoidant from running away, you have to essentially cater to them to prevent triggering their avoidant fears, because the avoidant will quickly end the relationship when their fears are triggered. It's a negative message to send to yourself. You should not be in a relationship tiptoeing around somebody if what you want is emotional intimacy. If you want closeness, if you want security in a relationship, this person is not going to give that to you unless they are committed to doing the work. And yes, they can do the work. They absolutely can, but it's a choice. They have to want it. And that work should include therapy with a licensed psychotherapist that understands attachment theory. And it should include a commitment to a change in behavior and a commitment to open communication. If the avoidant is doing all that, well, they can learn to become a secure attacher, and they can also become a great partner. It is possible. But if they're not doing any of the work, if they are still avoiding, then the only way to keep the relationship is to maintain it as a relationship that is a one-way street, with you sacrificing everything that it is that you want in the relationship just to cater to the other person. And that is exactly how you become a severely anxiously attached person, by sacrificing yourself and telling yourself the message that the other person matters far more than you, and it's okay for you to get emotionally neglected. Let me add one more thing to this video. Are you enjoying the push-pull experience with the avoidant? Are you enjoying the leaving and coming back pattern, hoping that this time they'll change? Are you enjoying the emotional unavailability that they're providing you? If this person is not truly committed to working on themselves, and you cater to them and keep them, you are going to get more and more and more of the same. And this dynamic, this push-pull dynamic, it can last months or years. And I'll tell you what, you don't get time back. You don't get that time back in your life. So ask yourself, is this relationship with the avoidant, is it providing you more love in your heart or pain? It's an important question to ask yourself, because if they're not committed to working on themselves, you're gonna get more of the same. And do you really want that?